Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1816A and today's date is March 15th, 2019 and the title of the episode is This is What Economic Control Looks Like. Boom. Now, don't you just love it when you find a $20 bill in a jacket pocket you haven't worn in ages, or a purse you've not used for a long time? Well, imagine this, finding hundreds of dollars in the papers that are sitting in your file cabinet. I'm talking about that old 401k paperwork. That money is sitting there doing nothing. Our friends at Noble Gold can cast an eye over that lost paperwork and see if you qualify for a precious metals IRA with it. So they're offering one of these special Morgan Silver dollars for all qualified IRAs above $20,000. So dig out the old paperwork and click the link below to get started on your gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, when all this started, Q told us to trust the plan. And this is a very difficult thing to do because a lot of people say, yes, I'm going to trust the plan until the mainstream media comes out and the mainstream media puts out news and it counters everything that Q has been saying, counters everything that you believe is happening, counters your expectations, and then you say, well, it looks like the plan isn't going the way it seems. And this is why Q says you need to trust the plan, because as we go throughout this plan, there's going to be times that you feel fantastic, times that you feel like, what the hell's going on here? And that's why Q is continually saying, trust the plan. And part of the plan is to make it seem like the deep state, the central bankers, the mainstream media, they have full control. It makes them do stupid things where they think that nothing can touch them, that they're controlling the narrative. At the same exact time, what's happening in the background? Well, they're executing the plan. They don't know this, and I'm talking about they, the central bank, the mainstream media, and everyone else. They don't realize that this is happening because they feel like they're in control. And this is what we see happening with the plan right now. Even with the economic plan. I mean, a lot of people think that, oh, look, the central bank, they're going to be crashing the economy. The mainstream media said that the economy is slowing, and it's going to slow in 2019. Then we're going to have a recession in 2020, and it doesn't look good. There are certain individuals that are running for president. They tried to attack the economy, but it didn't work. And part of Trump's plan is to make the economy look absolutely incredible. Every number that can be manipulated is being manipulated to make it look like the economy is absolutely fantastic. But we need to think to ourselves, how can he make a central bank debt-ridden economy look incredible? Yeah, he can make unemployment look fantastic. He can make GDP look fantastic. And while he's doing that, behind the scenes, he's unraveling everything they've done in the last many, many years. And this takes some time. And he needs to make sure that they do not bring down the economy. Because once they bring down the economy, and Trump is telling everyone the economy is great, and they do it on their terms, well, Trump is finished. He knows this, Q knows this, the Patriots know this. This is why Trump has taken full control of the entire system. He's even taken control of the Fed. How do we know this? The Fed was on course to raise rates 4 to 5 times this year. So far, how many times have they raised the interest rate in 2019? 0. What month are we in? We are in the month of March. In 4 days, which is very interesting, the Federal Reserve is going to meet. Now, think about this for a second. March 19th, this is the date that we're counting down to. This is the date the lawyers for Epstein have to make the case to keep all those documents sealed up. This is the date that the central bankers meet. and discuss whether they're going to raise the rates or not. Now it's starting to look like they're not going to do anything. And we'll be talking about that in just a minute. But first, we need to understand that the central bank system does not benefit the people. We've been sold a bill of goods where they've been telling us through all our education since 1913 that the central bank's way is the only way, that debt is good. Credit, debt, and everything else is fantastic. And the more debt you're in, it's great. Inflation is good. They don't mention that inflation means the value of their debt note is losing value. And this brings me to the minimum wage. The minimum wage, and I know a lot of people believe this, they think, well, if we raise the minimum wage, everything will be okay. No, that's furthest from the truth. Think about it. The minimum wage, well, they increased this many, many times. They have to continually increase it. Why? Think about it for a second. Why would you have to increase the minimum wage? Because it takes more of the same debt notes to pay for the same items you've always been paying for. This is an incredible indicator to let you know how bad the central bank system is. I mean, right now, the minimum wage is around, $15 an hour? And guess what happens when you continually raise the minimum wage? It doesn't help employment. It actually increases unemployment. What do employers normally do when they have to pay their workers more money? Especially when the company is not taking in more currency. Well, they either cut back on the hours or they get rid of people. This is exactly what we've been seeing. So there is no success when raising the mandated minimum price of labor above the productivity of a lesser skilled worker. A recent report by the New York City Hospitality Alliance warns about the loss of wages and jobs. It interviewed 574 establishments, 324 full-service restaurants, and 250 limited-service restaurants, and published the following results. 76.5% of full-service restaurants respondents reduced employee hours, and 36.3% eliminated jobs in 2018. In response to the mandated wage increases, 75% of limited service restaurants report that they will reduce employee hours, and 53% will eliminate jobs in 2019 as a result of the minimum wage going up. Now, this is very interesting. Well, everyone says, well, what about Amazon? They gave everyone $15 an hour, and they're fantastic. But you didn't see what happened in the background. Yes, they received $15, but guess what? The businesses will always take it from someplace else. What did they do? Well, Amazon eliminated, in order to accommodate the lower level salaries, stock options. An employee after 2 years of service would receive one share of the e-tailer stock, valued today at $1,671, and one share each year after. But Amazon traded that option for the instant gratification of a few extra dollars, even less after taxes, in each paycheck. So, yes, on the front it sounds fantastic, but they remove something to accommodate the money being paid out to these individuals. Now, what's going to happen over time is that the value of the debt note is going to lose value. And the $15 will only be worth $13, $12, $11, $10, and then people will be complaining again. What's the main source of the problem? The central bank. What is the plan of the Patriots to get rid of the source of the problem? Trump right now is bringing back manufacturing, deregulating, creating better trade deals as best as he can do in the central bank economy. And he's preparing the economy so the economy can function once we get rid of the central bank, once we get rid of their system. In order to do this, he needs to control them right now. He needs to take the control away from the Rothschilds. And since the Federal Reserve is the reserve currency central bank system right now, well, Trump can control other central banks. Because if the Fed is going to say, listen, we're not going to move right now, or we're going to lower rates, or we're going to do this, other central banks will follow. Because they can't act without the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve right now is going to be patient a little bit longer. The word is that after this meeting on the 19th, it looks like they're going to wait until the third quarter to consider raising the interest rate one more time. They don't feel like they're in a hurry right now to change rates. There's no reason to do it. We're looking at all the numbers. Actually, the numbers haven't looked this good since who knows when. So they're not in a hurry to raise the target rate anytime soon. And if we go back in time to September, October, November, December of 2018, they were like, oh yes, we're still going to raise it 3 to 4 times, maybe 3 times. And remember, during this period, Trump was continually contradicting the Fed over and over and over. And then all of a sudden they said, okay, we'll raise in December, but January, where we were slated to raise it, we're not going to raise it. We'll wait until March until we have the meeting. And now we're getting word that they're going to wait until the third quarter, which then most likely will be pushed off again. So Q has told us that they understand the deep state, the central bank's plan. They understand that they were going to raise the rates to bring down the entire system. And this was going to be during the elections. It looks like Trump has stopped this. The Patriots have stopped this. Think about what the other central banks are doing right now. The ECB, they were going to be raising rates. What have they said? Well, we're going to hold back on that right now. We're not going to be raising rates. So everything is going to be status quo. Nothing is going to be moving. Now, if the economy starts to falter, I believe Trump will instruct the Fed, in not so many words, to lower the rates. And we might even see the ECB lower rates, depending on how things go. This is control. And we need to remember something very important. We are still in a central bank system. Trump can just do so much. There's this huge amount of debt. It's a system that the central banks have set up around the world. Their tentacles are everywhere. But he needs to prepare the United States for the transition. And if you notice, that has been his focus. His focus is to set these trade deals in motion, to remove the regulations, to make it easier for companies to come back into the United States, to build manufacturing plants, to get rid and break down the globalist system. Once this is ready to go, he can then turn his focus on the central bank, because he will then have everything ready for the transition. He won't have to worry about that. He then can take on the central bank. This is planning. And they do it very slowly, very methodically. So the deep state and the central banks, they don't know what is happening until it's too late. And we're going to see a lot more of this. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.